Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a massive shift in how organizations are handling their most valuable asset, data. The game is changing, you know? We're moving away from these old, leaky pipelines and into a world where data isn't just a byproduct, it's the product itself. Let's get right into it.
Look, we're all experiencing this exponential growth of data. It feels like we're drowning in it sometimes, right? And that presents this huge opportunity. But with all that volume and complexity, it also comes with massive challenges, which can quickly turn that potential goldmine into a minefield of cost, complexity, and frankly, a lot of risk.
And here's the disconnect we see all the time. On one hand, you've got this incredible promise, right? The idea that data will give you a competitive edge, it'll drive innovation. But for so many organizations, the reality is, well, it's a data swamp. A murky mess where quality issues, governance failures, and security risks make it almost impossible to find any real value.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we actually navigate that swamp to find the gold? Well, it all starts with having a really clear rulebook for our data. And that brings us to three absolutely foundational concepts: governance, stewardship, and ownership. So first up is data governance. The best way to think about this is like it's the constitution for your data. Seriously, it's that high-level framework of rules and policies that defines how everything is managed and protected. It doesn't get into the nitty-gritty, but it sets the fundamental laws for everything else. Now, if governance is the law, then data stewardship is the day-to-day enforcement. Your stewards are the boots on the ground. They're the people who are really hands-on with the data, implementing the rules, managing all the metadata, and making sure the data is actually accurate and ready to use when someone needs it.
And finally, you've got data ownership. This isn't about the daily management, this is about ultimate authority and accountability. Data owners are where the buck stops for a specific data set. They have the final say on who gets access, how it's secured, and crucially, how it aligns with the company's biggest goals.
And this table just lays it all out so clearly. You can see how these three roles create this perfect separation of duties. You've got governance at the top, setting the strategy. Then stewardship is in the middle, handling the tactical, day-to-day execution. And ownership provides that business-level authority and accountability. You absolutely need all three working together.
All right, so once you have the rules of the game in place, we can start looking at the technology that makes it all run. And let me tell you, the tech itself has gone through its own dramatic evolution.
This journey has been pretty fascinating. You know, we started with these super rigid, structured data warehouses. They were great for predictable reports, but they just couldn't handle all the messy, modern data we have now. So the pendulum swung way over to the data lake. Super flexible, but often a chaotic free-for-all that created those data swamps we just talked about. Now, the industry is kind of landing on the data lakehouse, a hybrid that tries to give us the best of both worlds. But here's the real game changer: how AI is getting baked into these platforms. Now, I know a diagram like this can look incredibly complex, but the key takeaway here is actually pretty simple. In the past, managing metadata, the data about your data, was a total manual nightmare. Today, AI models can automate that entire process of discovery, classification, and governance. It turns a slow, error-prone chore into an intelligent, dynamic system. And it's this powerful combination of clear governance on one side and these AI-powered platforms on the other that enables a true paradigm shift. We're talking about a fundamentally new way of thinking about and working with data. Zhamak Dehghani, who created the whole data mesh concept, just captured this shift perfectly. She basically argues that we have to break free from this old, linear pipeline thinking, where data is just constantly getting shuffled from one system to another, losing context and quality every step of the way. And this leads us to the big idea: data as a product. The principle is simple, but it's incredibly profound. Stop treating data like the exhaust coming out of a technical process. Instead of just pushing it down a pipeline, you start treating it like a real product that you actually design, build, and support for your consumers.
So, what really makes a data set a product? Well, it's got to have these essential qualities. Think about it from a user's perspective. The journey starts with discoverable and understandable. Can I even find it, and does it make any sense to me? Then comes the big one: trust. Is it trustworthy and secure? And finally, is it easy to use? Is it natively accessible, and does it play well with my tools? Is it interoperable? When you hit all these marks, that's when data stops being a liability and starts becoming a valuable, reusable asset.
Okay, but wait a minute. As we start decentralizing data ownership and turning all this data into shareable products, it brings up a huge question. How in the world do we keep it all secure and compliant?
And let's be clear, This isn't just some tech challenge. This is a fundamental issue of customer trust. A staggering 74% of consumers say they highly value their data privacy. If you break that trust, the consequences can be absolutely devastating, both financially and for your reputation. That's exactly why modern data strategy requires privacy by design. You have to bake it in from the start, not try to bolt it on at the end. This means building your data products so they're automatically aligned with regulations like GDPR and CCPA, using strong security, and being totally transparent with users. Compliance becomes a core feature, not an afterthought.
And that brings us to the final question, the one you should be asking yourself and your organization. Are you still stuck in the past, just building these brittle, inefficient pipelines? Or are you ready to embrace the future and start building valuable, secure, and truly trustworthy data products?